from Sweden that you could easily continue to make your content in.
The most fans obsessed countries, Australia is #1. I knew them man there down under. I knew you lot were weird, bro. I knew that. No wonder they shipped you guys down there. They just banned OnlyFans. Hallelujah, bro. It's been a long time coming. And you know what my speculation is? This is not my speculation. This is my theory. You know the guy who made OnlyFans? Hasn't he just been getting free OnlyFans content his whole life? Ever since he like came out with that, he's been getting it for free because he can just log in, just, oh look, wow, yeah, look at her. Oh, what a G, to be honest, bro. You don't have to pay for nothing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So sad day for the unemployed. They're officially banning OnlyFans. You heard that right. They are officially banning OnlyFans. And the country that's doing this, because it's not yet global, is Sweden. Sweden is leading the charge in banning OnlyFans.
Let's go. That's why I love Sweden.
Not entirely, but you'll hear the details later. Now, according to the New York Post, they say OnlyFans users in Sweden could face prison sentences under a harsh new law that treats buying online X shows the same as paying a prostitute for X. Now, obviously, I'm having to censor certain letters and words because I don't want to get flagged by YouTube, but you can pretty much understand what I'm trying to say. For the people who are currently users of OnlyFans who buy content in the country of Sweden, or even if you are outside the country of Sweden but are a Sweden national, resident, or citizen,
what game is this?
You could be charged with sex crimes if you buy content from the platform.
Good, you should be in the first place. It literally is prostitution, bruv. Might not want to say the word either, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, AD.
And by the way, I hear this doesn't apply to the people making the content, just for the people actually purchasing the content, which is the most dumb thing I've heard all day.
Stupid,
but also, it's kind of like this. You're trying to tackle a drug problem, right? Your entire population is addicted, full of druggies and drug dealers. You then decide to make a law criminalizing buying drugs for the drug addicts. So all the drug addicts, if they're caught with X drug, they're gonna go to prison or cop a felony charge. But as for the people creating these addictive ass drugs and exacerbating the problem, you're giving them a cop-out. In fact, you're not even charging them. You're just continuing to allow them to create the drug that got these people addicted in the first place. So like, what?
Bro,
this is the same thing.
Cane.
People buy the OnlyFans, they go to jail. But the people creating the OnlyFans, they get a free pass? How does that make any sense? But they also say the law, which will take effect July 1st, also criminalizes profiting from or promoting others who perform sexual acts for payment on demand. So apparently this will be prioritizing.
But how do you know they're in Sweden? I don't understand how you would know they're in Sweden. Unless it's like they go based off like IP addresses and that.
Sex creators, sex workers on fans who I suppose live stream and get payments in real time from their viewers. So in a way, these people will be penalized for that specifically. But then an easy loophole around that would just be to not live stream. So you wouldn't get donos in demand. You could just like, I don't know, upload pre-recorded content and skirt the new law in that way without really getting penalized or your account getting shut down or whatever.
But there's not a lot they can do because P-Hub is still active. All them sites are still active. It's like, bro, what can you actually do? There's not really much you can do, bro. You got P-Hub active, X-Videos active, Baddie Hub active. You got... Why am I naming all of these sets?
If you have the means of doing so, move out of Sweden. I mean, there's plenty of European countries in Europe, aside from Sweden, that you could easily continue to make your content in.
The most fans obsessed countries, Australia is #1. Whoa. I knew them man there down under. I knew you lot were weird, bro. I knew that. No wonder they shipped you guys down there. Raw, you lot are holy. That's crazy. Nah, that actually so tapped. Per 10,000 people, you got 7,000. You 70% of people? Nah, you lot better stay down there, bro. Don't bother coming back up to this part of the map, bro. You're down there for the rest of your life.
Without having any mishaps. But again, it's really not that serious to me, like in terms of like bro, just go to a new platform or get a job. I don't know, like meanwhile, I'm saying get a job when essentially me and creators are doing the same exact things, just in different ways for money, using our bodies to provide entertainment for our viewers in exchange for money. I mean, it's basically the same. Just, you know, I'm not getting my booty hole penetrated. But anyway, they say this is a new form of X purchase, and it's high time we modernize the legislation to include digital platforms.
Yeah, it's about time, bro.
And this was a comment made by the Swedish member of parliament, Teresa Carvalho, said after the bill passed. So the bill passed. Like, it's not up in the air. They're not still trying to vote on it. It literally passed. And it's going to take effect July 1st. So
Makes
for
sense.
any of my
Probably
Swedish viewers, for
can go to
anybody
them
who's a
saying,
Swedish
I don't know
national,
what she's
resident,
doing
or
in Sweden,
citizen
bit.
who's a heavy user of
Gotta
count your
value.
days, buddy. It's over. You're done. There's no way out of this one, buddy. They also say later in the article that under the new law, it will be illegal to pay someone to carry out a actual
Why are they trying to hide Sophie Rain from me? I see her down there. Don't hide her from me though. Don't hide her from me
act
now.
remotely, such as on a live video stream for the specific purpose of that act being viewed by the buyer, which in my opinion is just going too far. That's just too much government control. Like if I want to pay a little baddie, a little something digitally, remotely to show me them things, I should be able to do so. Like why are you restricting my freedom to see?
I never understood paying for stuff like that. It's been free since we were born. Like maybe not since we were born, maybe a little bit after, but for the past decade at least, it's been free. Why are you paying people now? Is it because it's a specific like relationship that you have with that girl? Yo, bro, she's not gonna I don't care if you drop 50 bags on her head top, bro. You drop her roses, you give her Rolls Royce, all that. Buy her RM. Why you buy her a Prezi? She's not having sex with you, bro. I'm sorry, G. She's not clarting, bro. You're not clarting that. The hell? You don't need to get that through your sick brain. Me, on the other hand, I have a possibility of clarting. You though,
to see what that
I don't know,
like
bro.
they really think this law is gonna do anything for anybody who wants to participate in this behavior, bro. Like all you're doing really, because if they're gonna ban OnlyFans or any of these other platforms like all you're doing is just pushing this to the black market like it's always been in, like for thousands of years. This is the oldest profession in history. Women and men are not gonna start participating in their natural based desires because a law says so. Some old ass gray haired politicians who probably do the same thing, who probably engage in the same behavior, are trying to now make it into a law because they don't want to solve the root problem. Listen, the root problem isn't sex work. All right, sex work is a part of human history, literally the first professions. It's not sex work that's the problem. All right, if we want to talk about the real problem, one of the real problems is the lack of intimacy, both men and women, you know, like actual intimacy, like love and, you know, respect and loyalty and, you know, connections, family and all that that, you know, humans and men and women have been doing for millennia. Like, you know, these are the things that give like people purpose, and like now that purpose has kind of been stripped away for a lot of people, you know, they sedate themselves with stuff like OnlyFans and, you know, other forms of vices. Like,
yo, is this guy stupid? What does he mean that sex work isn't the problem? It's been the biggest problem. Just because it's been around doesn't mean that it's not a problem. It's always been a problem. It's so lustful and disgusting. It's just a whole like, it's the ultimate sin. It's nasty, bro. What do you mean it's not the problem? What the hell? Yo, whatever you're smoking, bro, give it to me, bro. Let me try some of that.
drugs and alcohol and, I don't know, popping pills. Like, hey, is not the problem, it's a symptom, and that's just the reality of it. And these politicians they fail to see that. You know, they can't see the forest for the trees, or the trees for the forest, whatever the phrase is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to take a step back. Instead of putting band-aids on things, you know, instead of like, you know, fixing things short term, we have to plan for the long term. And I suppose, hey, this is just a patchwork in my opinion. It's not gonna really do anything. If OnlyFans goes down, another site will pop up, and if that goes down, that site will, you know, be replaced by another, and so on and so forth. You know, this is just
there's already so many other sites, other fans, where you got OnlyFans, you got Ham, bro, you might know the sites, innit? You got Patreon, you got the Fansly, you got the my book. Well, I don't know what they're called. You got bad.
To be honest, I don't care. I just found the story interesting, and I know it's not going to work. You know, it's kind of like the 1920s prohibition. They tried to ban alcohol. What did that do? That made literally the mafia billionaires adjusted for inflation. I literally did the research about a week and a half ago. It made them billionaires adjusted for inflation. That's how much money they made on the black market, because the government and the politicians thought, oh my God, let's stop people from drinking, something human beings, people have been doing in society for thousands of years, by banning it. I'm sure that'll work well. We saw how that worked out. It did not. But instead of my yapping, because I know you guys want to hear more of the story, this is the politician right here, one of the people who voted on the bill, Carvajalo. She said she's a part of Sweden's left-wing opposition party, which are the Social Democrats over there, and said the law is not aimed at targeting OnlyFans models themselves. So like I said, basically targeting the drug addicts instead of the drug dealers. Kind of dumb, actually very dumb, but hey, it's Sweden.
But it does work if you think about it, because if no one's buying, they're going to stop doing it. If you just stop everyone from doing it, people are still going to try and buy. But if you stop everyone from buying, they're going to stop doing it eventually. So it kind of makes sense. Or am I the reason here?
They do a lot of
thinking about it
over there. She said, though, instead, it will protect young people and other individuals vulnerable to exploitation. Yeah, right. Okay, sure, buddy. She pointed to links between online exploitation and grooming with drug abuse, human trafficking, and yeah, as if OnlyFans was the forefront of that, as if that didn't exist hundreds of years before OnlyFans was even a thing. Okay. The bill was proposed by Swedish Parliament's Justice Committee and received cross-party
This guy making a video, man, should be
backing, and then they show a picture of some young lady with her Instagram handle who's supposedly an OnlyFans girl, and they say in Sweden paying for X is already illegal and faces a sentence of up to 1 year in prison. Wow, a lot of people must be in prison. Sweden's sex trafficking laws focus on punishing the buyers but not the sex workers. That is retarded in my opinion. Again, you're punishing the drug addicts instead of the actual drug dealers. Does that make any sense? Why not just punish both if that's the case? Literally, make it fair. Punish both. They also say pimping carries a maximum sentence for 4 years in prison. Okay, that's not too bad. This new law cracking down on and other adult sites is similar to the Sesta Foster law passed in the U.S. in 2018, President Trump's first term in office, which punished platforms that facilitate sex work. Igit Aiden, activist at the, I'm sorry, this is a weird ass name, but his name is Igit Aiden, activist at the European Ex Workers Rights Alliance, told this news blog. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much the end of the article. All I gotta say is, listen, you guys already know me. I don't really do the whole like left-leaning thing, the right-leaning thing. I'm not even a libertarian anymore. I just call myself, I'm on my not labeling things journey, and to be honest, I just like err on the side of logic. Logically, in my opinion, this law makes no sense if you're going to be punishing one side and not the other side. Literally, it would be more effective if you're going to go after the creators of said drug or content.
But how are they supposed to limit the actual creators themselves? Because they can't just stop the whole of Sweden using OnlyFans, because OnlyFans wasn't even for sex work in the beginning. It was literally just for creators who wanted to have their own little communities and people to pay to be entered into those little communities, and they will drop like, you know, tips and tricks on Black Ops 3, bro, how to hit a trick shot and all that, bro, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of does make sense to punish people who are just doing the sex work thing, because eventually if no one is buying their content, they're going to stop doing it themselves. You know what I mean? It's more of a psychological thing, I think, that what they're trying to do, but I wouldn't expect a like you to understand that. I'm not gonna